Hi, welcome to Clutter Bravado.
Yes, and
It's the energy. It's not just about the stuff.
So we should probably just get into it, right?
let's go. Good afternoon.
Oh, good afternoon. How are you?
I'm well.
Good.
Another Monday afternoon,
We normally do this in the morning, but we had a crazy busy morning.
preparing for the Modernism show in Palm Springs.
The Modernism show in Palm Springs. I am so excited about it. So we have our booth, which is going to be kind of cool. I'm actually very excited for
think
like
so,
how
too.
we've decided to design it and everything too. And we're going to be displaying some art there.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, from Javier Estrada, who we just had on our last episode. So it's kind of timely, right?
It's timely. It's the perfect art. She's the perfect artist.
We're using all of her cacti. So it's like the Palm Springs vibe and then the colorful cacti collection that she has. I think it's just going to be great. I'm really excited about that.
It's gonna be fun.
Yeah. And then also we have some furniture from Kimberly Denman.
Some furniture from Kimberly Denman. A couple vintage pieces.
Ooh.
You know that I
Uh-huh.
used to do that show 20 years ago.
I know. I know.
So it's a fun. It's kind of fun.
Do you have some like nostalgia of doing it again?
No, that's called PTSD. And actually, don't. Actually, I'm looking forward to it. It's a small space. We're gonna do something fun.
Okay.
I'm excited to interview a bunch of cool people.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's different. You know, it's
Yes.
like when you go there, and it's a very different vibe right now. So I'm having fun with it.
That's really funny, actually. So when was the last time you had a booth there?
Oh, I don't know. I haven't done a show since, I don't know, 2014 or something like that. It literally
Okay,
is.
so like a decade. Okay.
Yeah, it literally is something that was, I don't know, 3-4 shows a year or something
Yeah.
like that. It was a lot of,
That's a lot of work because even just preparing for this one, we're there for 3 days.
yeah.
And it's so much work. But it's really fun. I don't know, because it's my first time doing it.
Right.
I think I still have some excitement about it. I'm not jaded yet, you know?
And so it'll be great. We're setting it up in a way that also is not, we don't have to be there the whole time,
Yeah,
selling.
yeah.
It's just a different vibe. But yeah,
Yes.
it's very funny to be preparing it right now. I'm like, oh boy. And, it's also a lot of cool people there that I've known for a long time. Some of them you're going to actually meet and you'll have fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so our calendar is full. We went over our entire calendar today for the month of February. We're already so far in.
And March is shaping up to be busy as well.
March is going to be nuts. But it's so fun. Like, I had been dreaming about the opportunity to take this podcast or whatever we're doing sort of on the road, getting to meet people that I wouldn't otherwise meet, having brand new opportunities that are just, that I could never come up with beyond my wildest dreams, you could say. And I get to actually do that, which I couldn't be more grateful. I love how well like all of this is going and how much fun we're having. It's really neat. And it's fun to do it with you, actually.
Dude, some people are watching the thing, but like, she's just.
The more I say it, the more likely it's true, right?
Maybe that's what it is. But we had an amazing evening.
We did have.
So I'd like
Yes.
to jump to that because that was.
On Friday. Okay, so this is a special episode, which we'll get to in a moment. But we went to a brand new restaurant, ALBA in LA. So it's Casino ALBA in New York, and then their LA location just opened on Thursday. And we went there for dinner on Friday, but we got to interview Julian Black, who is opening the restaurant 2 days before it opened. And we did it in the restaurant. So that is what you're going to see today. Julian Black as our guest later. I'm like cutting ahead. We always like reveal it at the end, but I'm like so excited about it. But so you're going to see us interviewing him 2 days before it opens. But then we got to have dinner there on Friday. Okay. How do I explain the food is unreal. The food is unreal. So we need to start off
just one thing for some of the people that know me, I'm a tough critic on
A tough
restaurants
critic? Yes.
and food.
Yes.
And
I eat with you quite a bit, and I know that you're like, eh.
and I was blown away.
Right?
I was blown away. So please go ahead because it was just an experience.
Number one, focaccia. Okay. I think it was just the focaccia della casa. I think that's what it was called. Whipped ricotta. I'm thinking about it is making me upset because I don't have it directly in front of me. This is not, I want to be very clear. This is not a paid sponsor.
Yeah, no, yeah.
We
it's
just,
not an infomercial.
This is not an infomercial. Go eat the focaccia. Go eat the focaccia. It comes out. We're like, this is a loaf. That's not focaccia. Focaccia comes in a different. You do it differently. We had thoughts. We had reviews. We had critiques. I bit into that, and I was like, oh no.
I don't. I mean, more kidding.
Everything melted away. Oh my God, it's
Yeah.
delicious. So we had that. Okay, that was gone instantly. We got a bunch of other things. We got like a lovely little chicory salad, pink chicory
Which was
salad.
so pretty.
So cute. Everything there is so cute.
But there's a lamb dish. It is the best bite of lamb I've ever had in my life, and
feel like
that
all of
is
the-
something. I've cooked lamb. I've eaten lamb. This thing is just surreal.
We were silent.
Yeah.
We were completely sitting at a table. We talked to each other a lot, obviously. We were silent, sitting, looking at this lamb. Like, this might be the most delicious thing that I've ever had.
It's possible. I mean, it was one of the best bites
Very-
I've ever had. I
Hands
remember
down.
it. Yeah.
Hands down.
And
So good. So good. And then the desserts.
yeah, maybe we overdid it on
We
that
did.
one, but
We did. We got two, ended up with three. I don't know how that happens.
yeah, that was a miscommunication. We did order only two.
We got three. We did not finish them all. I'm very proud of that because it took a lot of restraint. It was. They were so good. It is so. Each of the desserts is different. Each of them has a different flavor profile. The texture combinations in each of these is amazing. The chocolate torte with kumquat is a perfect blend of citrus and chocolate. We all know that those go well together. This was a marriage. This was a happy marriage of citrus and chocolate together. Everything that was on the menu that we had really blended together in a unique, surprising, but perfect way. The chef is using a lot of ingredients that are local,
Yeah,
going to local markets. And I think that's really what makes it special.
maybe.
Yeah.
It's probably
one of the
it.
things. But I mean, I was absolutely floored by the food. It was so good. The service also.
Was amazing.
How do you get
Absolutely
service
amazing.
like that in Los Angeles?
It's
It
the
doesn't
best
exist
service.
anywhere.
No,
Yeah.
it's the best service we've had, or I've had in LA, probably hands down.
Yeah.
And it's the most fun too. The design of the restaurant is fantastic.
It's
It
really
makes you
playful.
travel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
You feel it a little bit. You feel like you're in Italy. You don't
Yes.
feel like you're in LA.
No.
So that was great. The color scheme is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
The space between the table is fantastic. The music was great. And you could hear it, like the acoustic is great. It's there's an open. I mean, the restaurant, it was not open. The roof was not open that night because it's
roof,
chilly.
Yes,
but
'cause
the
it's chilly,
roof
but the roof does retract.
retracts. So it's like in the spring and summer, it's going to be spectacular
it's
out
gonna be
there.
incredible out there. Yeah.
Julian is probably one of the best restaurateurs, young, but probably one of the best restaurateurs I know. And it's makes me very happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was such a good time. Also, from where I was sitting, this is something that I love about going out to eat and just like going out in general. I'm a little bit of a people watcher. So this is something that I love to do, which is I get a table or I get a seat where I can kind of like look around and see the whole restaurant. And normally you'll have the experience where you'll see people that are just like, not having a good time,
Uh-huh.
which is fun if you're people watching. You're like, ooh, what's going on over there? Right?
That table is breaking up.
But when I tell you that everybody there was not only this was probably the most beautiful crowd. Everyone there was dressed, put together, like
Yeah.
stunning, beautiful people there. And also everyone was having such a good time. There was such a solid vibe there where you feel like you just want to sit and hang out for a while. It's not like I want to eat and I want to get the heck out of here. It's like, this is where I'm at tonight. And I really liked that. And obviously they're going to be quite busy, so they're going to be turning tables over pretty quickly. But within the next, few weeks, it's probably going to be insane trying to get a reservation there. But I will say that I'm glad that we had the table that we did. It was nice. It was roomy. It felt good. The vibe in there was really good. It is gorgeous. The tablescape's beautiful. I mean, it's like everything is so thoughtful, and I really appreciate that. So we should probably just get to our guests.
Yeah, I think so.
We were talking to Julian, and we were in the restaurant. This is the most fun part, though, is that there's stuff going on. There's stuff going on in the restaurant while we were there, and I love that because there was so much energy of the buildup of the opening of the place, and to know that they knocked it out of the park is just, I mean, it just brings it all together.
Yep.
So should we get to it?
Let's go.
Welcome to Clutter Bravado. We are here at ALBA, LA,
Welcome.
with Julian Black. How are you doing?
I'm phenomenal.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm sitting in my dining room that's finally done, so I'm a happy guy.
First of all, it is absolutely gorgeous in here.
Thank you.
We'll be posting some stuff on the Instagram of some details around the place. You're getting set up today.
We are. We did our friends and family on Friday and Saturday, which was interesting.
Yeah.
We learned a lot.
Uh-huh.
So we brought the staff in today, just kind of, we realized we didn't have a place to polish glassware in the middle of the shift.
Okay.
So we figured that out, and little things. We're doing a photo shoot simultaneously while we're doing this.
Yeah.
So getting set up for that. And just trying to get ready. But Thursday's the big day.
Yes.
So we've got another 24 hours after this to get in shape. But I think we're there. I think we're there. We've been training the staff since October.
Yeah.
So, everybody's hyped and ready to go.
It looks like people are trying to get your attention right now. So
They
we have
definitely are.
have you for a very
That's
short
fine. You're
amount
good.
of
Listen,
time
they
today.
this was on my calendar. This was blocked off.
Okay, this is
So
blocked off.
they know.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So they know.
Yeah, they know. It's all good.
I love the color scheme,
So I can't take any credit for this,
but
thank
it
you.
looks really good.
It looks
So
really
my
good.
partner Kobe is definitely the design master behind all this, and then GRT Architects in New York. They were kind of they worked in tandem. They did Cucina in New York, and then they did this here, which is obviously a much bigger project. But yeah, I mean it turned out beautiful. We're really happy with the way that it turned out, and to have those Alex Proba pieces out there that she came and painted were
Wow.
amazing. Watching
Yeah.
her work was super cool, and then having these Alex Katzes here again, you guys will see all of this. It's great, and then we have more art coming in. I think just what we wanted to accomplish was that Italian holiday vibe.
You achieved it. That's exactly what I
Yeah.
thought of when I walked in here. I walked into the main dining room and I'm like, oh, I feel like I'm at a pool. It's the summertime. Like
Bingo.
it has this, it has this
Bingo.
beautiful, very summery feel.
Yeah.
And here we are in February.
Luckily, we're in Southern California,
Luckily,
so
this is
February,
Los Angeles, but,
February still feels warm.
But it's gorgeous. And then it also has, the main dining room has a retractable roof.
Yeah, so that was a big thing.
Yeah.
My partners found this before I joined them, and the whole premise to this was they only wanted to do something in LA if there was outdoor dining.
Yeah.
Because again, you're in LA. It's February. You can still sit outside.
Absolutely.
We turn the heaters on at night, but you can still sit outside. So we were thinking, what is the feel of sitting outside in LA? We didn't want it to feel like those kind of awful pop up, get you through COVID
Yeah.
situations that we
Yes.
had,
Yeah.
like the street side things. We really wanted it to feel like a real proper dining room.
Yes.
And I think we definitely accomplished that. And the retractable roof is a big part of that.
Have you rain tested it yet?
Yes. Funny you should ask.
We don't have to go into detail,
well,
but that's one of the
it
many
is-
details that you have to pay attention
It
to.
is
Yeah.
rain tested, and in theory,
Okay.
it works. Unfortunately, what we didn't take into consideration was the high winds when we had that rain a couple weeks ago.
Oh
yeah.
yes.
Legally and for safety purposes, even though this thing is supposedly hurricane proof, if there's 45-mile-an-hour winds or more, it triggers it to open,
Oh.
which
wow.
happened in the middle of the night,
No.
and everything got soaked.
Oh wow.
So I woke up at like 7 o'clock the next day, and I was like, I really hope the restaurant's okay. And I went on my phone and looked at the cameras and just saw that it was just soaked, just completely and utterly soaked.
The process of opening a brand new restaurant
Yeah.
is.
Is people clearly not paying attention that there are things going on here?
I love
I
it.
love it.
We're leaving all of it in. No,
Yeah, yeah.
we came here with the full
yeah,
understanding
yeah.
that there's going to be some
There-
hustle and bustle.
100%. There's a lot going on today.
But-
Wait, here we go again.
It's a restaurant. It's a restaurant
Yeah.
opening. We love
It's
it.
fine.
You have to
Exactly.
embrace that.
Yes,
Exactly.
yes. So there's so much that goes into every single detail.
Yeah.
And everything here is so intentional, and it is
For sure.
really beautifully put together. And as we're seeing it, like a couple of days before you even open,
Yeah.
the tables are set, everything is pristine, the napkins are at a certain angle, everything
Yes.
is
10 o'clock. I just changed it from 11 o'clock to 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock, I love it.
So
Yeah,
Now we're at 10 o'clock. Yeah, exactly.
it's perfect. And as everything sort of comes together, and as all of the stakes start to rise a little bit, you start to have a full restaurant in here, you're going to start to learn new things. So one of the things that you already picked up on from your family and friends weekend was, like you said that you didn't have a place to polish silver.
Yeah, I mean,
during
we
the shift.
set up a makeshift one back there,
Okay.
which we're not going to have that space when it becomes a retail space, whatever they end up putting there. So we were like, okay, we have to figure that out. We also realized, like, oh, we didn't put any handles on any of our drawers. So we were opening these drawers with like a knife trying to get them open. And then at one point we just decided to just leave them open.
whoa.
So like little things like that. And,
Yeah.
when there's only so much that you can do, there's only so much that you can recognize before the space is open. So like lighting is a whole other thing when, there are actually people in the space and how it feels, and the music's playing, and something that I learned at my time at the grill, because that whole room is all windows, is you have to change the lighting as the sun goes down, obviously,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So that was a big part of it, and we're still getting used to how the lighting works in here and what we want that to be, and every day I'm kind of messing with it and changing the settings, and music levels are totally different when you have guests in the dining room, when there's 100 people in here and everybody's talking really loudly and
Exactly.
laughing and whatever. Like, you have to pay attention to that. And, operationally, there's a lot of stuff that you just don't, not that you don't think about it, but you have it planned for one way. And then when you're actually doing it, you realize that doesn't work at all. We have to try something completely different.
Exactly.
So that was a lot of what we found on Friday and Saturday. Friday was a brutal night for the kitchen. It was like the first time that they had really been pumping that food out. And then Saturday was like this massive 180, and it actually felt like a real restaurant in here. We were taking orders, and the right food was hitting the right tables. And, so that definitely gave me some hope that we were heading in the right direction. And now it's just kind of, let's kind of figure this out. And we learned a lot, and we'll continue learning a lot. I'm sure Thursday, when we actually have real guests in the restaurant, real paying guests, not people that my mom sitting here, and I come over, I'm like, hey, so your steak's going to take an hour and a half. So sorry.
Yeah.
That's not going to fly when we have people actually paying for those steaks. So,
Are you opening all of the dining, are all of the dining rooms going to be open on the first night?
yeah.
Okay. So
So-
how many people is that? If
So
you
we
have a
can
full
sit
house?
about full house. There's 120 on this first floor.
Okay. Okay.
We are gonna play it a little safe
Mm-hmm.
the first couple weeks. We're not gonna do any crazy numbers because we really want the staff to get comfortable and we want service to
Mm-hmm.
feel good. And as the weeks go on, we'll start with, I think our opening night, we have 140 people on the book. So we're turning the room like a turn and a half.
Okay.
So we're
got
not getting too aggressive with it. Obviously people will call last minute and investors want to come in. They realize we're open, yada, yada, yada. So that number will go up, but we're not going to, crush anybody. But the goal is by, mid-March, we would like to be doing 300 people a night.
Yeah.
And we can do that. And I think we can do that in a way that is still maintaining the standards of the service that we're setting in place. That's my hope, at least.
So talk to me about your menu. How is this location going to be different from your New York location?
So to start, the menu is fairly similar.
Okay.
Adam, who's our executive chef, who is just, one of the best chefs I've ever seen or worked with in my life. He's really known for his bread and for his dough. He literally wrote the book on focaccia.
Oh, cool. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. I'll send you guys all the info for that so you can plug that. He was kind of blown away by the farmer's market when he got here.
Yeah.
And so we've taken some of our dishes in New York that, may have used beautiful preserved artichokes from Italy, and instead we're using like the fresh local California artichokes here instead. So that's a big part of it. We literally have the Melrose Place Farmers Market right here, which is awesome. So we're focusing a lot more on, we have a whole garden section of the menu now, which is just an ode to the bounty that is the produce of California and specifically LA. So that's definitely, there's a garden section in New York as well, and we've got amazing purveyors and vendors in New York, but there's something about, the fact that you can get spring peas right now in LA is awesome, right? So we're actually doing like spring peas with a beautiful poached burrata.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Wait, did you say poached?
Poached. It's butter poached burrata. Yeah.
Oh, because you needed to add. Well, it's funny, burrata with a little French twist of butter.
Exactly.
Ooh. Okay.
When we thought that Italian and French would never mix.
I mean, I will say like a lot of what we talk about and a lot of like the food that we love is this kind of, coastal Italy, coastal France vibe.
Okay.
I think there's actually a lot more interplay there than people think. When you have access to fresh seafood like they do in that part of the world. I've eaten amazing pastas in the south of France, on the coast. Like, I think,
So this is where he's from, you know that.
Oh,
right?
I'm
Canada.
aware.
Yes.
Oh, I'm aware.
No,
Okay.
Even a good pizza in Nice is very good.
For sure, 100%. Actually, we have this idea of doing like French style pizzeria at some point. Yeah.
Ooh.
Well, we'll see. We'll get there. But for now, this is the focus. This
Eat.
beast is the focus.
Yeah, exactly. I will ask for a piece saladière. If it's like bread dough with like caramelized onion and little anchovies, and please.
Exactly. That's it. I mean, there's nothing better.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's like,
That's
and a
it.
glass of rosé.
Yeah, that's all you need. That's literally all you need. I could have that every day and be totally happy. So.
Me too.
But yeah, the menu's fairly similar, but with a lot more farmers market additions to it. Also, people eat differently here in LA. People are much more health conscious than they are in New York. The big difference between New York and LA is in New York, most people, unless you really are rich and have a beautiful apartment with a beautiful kitchen, don't have kitchens. Like you can't
That's true,
cook amazing meals in your home in New York. So restaurants, it's easy to get people out. Whereas here it's much more difficult because a lot of people have homes, whether you're rich or poor. Like you probably have a home and that has a real kitchen in it, whether it's an apartment or a home. There's just more space for that. And California's built more for that. So a conversation we have constantly is like, how do we get people out of their kitchens? Like, how do we show people that like what you get here, you can't make it home. You have to come here to have this. And I think that's the food. I think that's the experience. I think that's the cocktails. It's certainly the wine program we put together. And it's just the overall vibe. It's sitting in this room. There's nothing like this in LA.
Yeah.
There's literally nothing
There
like this in
really
LA.
isn't. There really isn't anything like this.
Yeah.
I mean, looking around here, this is so stunning.
Yeah.
It's really, really
I mean, I watched
beautiful.
you guys walk in from the window upstairs, and you were both just like, "Oh my god!"
I know.
What's interesting is that obviously I'm a little bit of a jerk with restaurant, and the restaurants where I like to go
So am I.
are the ones where I travel. There are a couple of restaurants where I go there and I travel. I'm, either like it's silly, but it's Great White, which is,
Sure.
food is.
They do
is,
for what they are. They do an amazing job.
Right.
Yeah.
And I get there and I feel like I'm on a holiday.
Yeah.
And here I came here, I walked in and I'm like, all right, I'm in Italy.
Right. I mean, you guys said that it feels like there should be a pool out
Yeah,
there, right?
exactly.
And
Exactly.
so that's for me is really important because
Yeah.
you sit here and
Mm-hmm.
you're spending a night in Italy.
Yeah, exactly.
Um,
I mean, we have a very heavy burgundy presence of wine on our
Good.
wine list, but yes, nonetheless, you will feel like you're in Italy.
I'm also a French ass. It's probably better to have a nice burgundy than a bunch of Chianti. But
Listen,
sorry for the
we
Italian
have enough of each. Don't worry. There's we even have California wine. We even have natural wine for the people
Okay.
that like to
Yeah.
drink that stuff. I personally don't. But why would you drink that when you can drink Merceau?
I mean,
Yeah.
good point. Good point.
Exactly.
That's fair.
Yeah. And by the way, our Merceau is very reasonably priced.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, yeah. The whole thing with the wine list, since we're
Yeah.
on that topic, is I'm not like a big wine person. I'm not a big drinker at all, but I know the market,
Yeah.
and as someone who knows the market, you go to these restaurants and you see like these crazy markups on bottles that you're just like, why would I pay this much? I could just bring one of my own. I can go and get this for a fraction of the price. So for me, when I was talking to my wine director, who I brought from New York, he was at 11 Madison Park, and then he was my top selling somm at the Grill, and then he left, and then I left, and he was working somewhere else. He was like, hey, I want to come work with you again. I was like, great. So we hired him at ALBA in New York. Then when he heard we were opening this, he was like, I want to move to LA and do this with you. And actually, he wasn't the only one. We have our chef de cuisine, Chris, who works right under Adam. He moved from New York. He was the
Wow.
chef de cuisine at Pasquale Jones and Charlie Bird.
Oh, cool.
And then Kevin King, who's our director of hospitality, is a New York legend. I mean, the guy ran the door at Balthazar and Minetta Tavern for like 15 years. He literally knows everybody. It's crazy. So anyway, aside from that, the whole thing I was talking to Truman, our wine director, about is like, how do we get these wines to be reasonably priced? I want to have people be able to come in here, like people that know their shit, know what the market is for wine, and be like, oh, I'm not going to bring that because I can just pay this price at ALBA and buy it there anyway, and
Yeah.
save mine at home.
Yeah.
And the first 2 nights of Friends and Family, that was like the most feedback we got was, this wine list is nuts and it's reasonably priced.
Wow. Yeah.
And, for me, it's like, I don't understand wine lists that are not priced to sell. There's this fear that, if I sell this bottle, I'll never get another one. Okay, so you'll never get another one. Go find something else. There's a ton of amazing
Yeah.
wine out there. We also got very lucky. We have some wine from some private consigners. And so there's stuff on our list that nobody's ever seen before,
Oh, wow.
which is very cool. And again, those are reasonably priced. So, for people that love any sort of wine, I mean, everything from $100 bottles to $10,000 bottles, we have everything that is delicious and reasonably priced. Would you
Wow.
agree with that, Greg? Oh yeah. Greg's our GM. Greg
Greg.
was the GM at Atelier Cren, and he
Oh,
was
wow.
he opened the Waldorf Astoria rooftop, and now he's leading the charge here. So we're lucky to have this guy too.
Beautiful.
But we
Nice.
we have an incredible team. I mean, really, like,
Yeah.
and everybody's definitely bought into what we're doing here, which is
Yeah.
yeah.
That is so important because
Yeah.
when you have a team of people that are really iffy about it.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
You guys are in my house. I gotta take care of you.
When you have a group of people on your team that are sort of just kind of there because they needed something to do, or
Right.
they, you don't have the heart and the soul in it. And
Right.
I've worked in restaurants for most of my life.
Yeah.
And you know, and from a hostess to a server to, you know, like food running and everything in between, bartending. When you have the camaraderie of people that really love being there, that believe in the culture of the business, like, and also just want to have guests come in and see people as guests rather than just like customers who are sitting down, it gives you an entirely different vibe as someone who's coming there to
You
dine.
can feel the culture in any restaurant you're in. Like you can feel if these people that are taking care of you actually like being there.
Yeah.
And you can tell when they're
makes
excited
the food taste
about
better,
the food.
doesn't it?
For sure, 100%. I mean, you know, something we talk about, or that we did talk about a lot during training, was like the captains and their spiels. So the whole premise behind that is like when you go over to the table and you bring the menus over, tell them how to order, not what to order. You'll get there, but like make people feel at ease. Like, you know, here's the different sections of the menu. You can do it any way you want. I'm here to help you and guide you through it. Yeah. And then they ask questions, the guests ask questions, and then you start talking about the food. And your eyes light up because you're hearing this person describe these incredible dishes to you. And, you know, I told all of our captains, like, I don't want to hear like basic words like, oh, it's creamy and you have like, tell me what emotions you feel when you're eating this, right?
Oh,
like,
okay.
Our orecchietta arrabbiata is house-made orecchiette with this beautiful spicy tomato sauce, and we put burrata right on top of it, and we cut the burrata at the table and mix it into the pasta. So it's like, tell me about that. Tell me what you feel when you eat that. It's so much more than just, it's creamy and it's spicy, you know? Because eating is an emotional experience.
Well,
absolutely.
You're an LA native, but trained in New York in places that have a culture. So
for sure. Yeah. I mean, you know, being at Carbone for 8.5 years, one thing that, I mean, they did a lot of things amazingly well, but one thing that they did amazingly well was getting us all to buy into the culture. Yeah. You know, like I still to this day, aside from my Star of David, wear my cornicello around my neck.
Love it.
Like, I'm not Italian, but I was given this by some of the guys at Carbone when I was running the door. They were like, this is to keep the Malocchio away. You know, like all the bad vibes that come in that are angry at you for not being able to seat them. And the way that I saw it was starting there as a host, which, you know, you were talking about, like, and then getting to the, you know, growing through the ranks and eventually becoming the GM of the grill. It was like, I got to see how other people got us to buy into the culture, and then I got to learn how I was going to get my team to buy into the culture. Yeah. And that's a conversation as leaders that we talk about a lot. Is like, you know, the way you lead is so important. I'm not a yeller. I'm you know, I'm 31. I didn't grow up in the age of like chefs screaming and being super aggressive. So like I'm much softer, but I also know how to like be serious and get things done. Like I just spoke to my team about the state of our office upstairs. And instead of like, you know, the way I would have been yelled at, which was like, do you really think that this is appropriate? We have to, like, I took the approach of like, guys, you spend a lot of time in here. Don't you want to work in a space, in an environment that is clean and organized and conducive to actually getting things done? And they're like, oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Yeah, exactly.
So, you know, we talk a lot about leadership and the way that you talk about things and deliver things to your team. And I think the way we've done that with this team is great. A lot of the feedback we got from friends and family over the weekend was, can't believe how locked in this team was. And that makes me feel really good, because that makes me feel like I did my job with the managers and the managers did their job with the team.
Absolutely.
And again, that's just culture. It's just creating a culture of wanting people to be the best they can be.
I also feel that, like, as someone who comes into restaurants, I love going out to restaurants. I can tell when my server is either checked out or doesn't, or is like really stressed out. Like you can tell when something's going on in the kitchen with the way that the server interacts with you. And in that, like, if you're creating a culture of people wanting to work together and not saying like, well, it's this guy's fault and it's this, like, this is what's going wrong. And instead everyone's like, we're working through this together. If someone comes to the table is like, I'm going to tell you what's going on here, you know, just, or like just being friendly about it and allowing for a little humility throughout throughout the whole process, it makes it so much more enjoyable
For
to
sure.
be there.
And not just that, but I like to use the example of Broadway. Like,
Yeah.
we're putting on a show
Yes.
every night. People are coming here to escape from whatever went on in their day. Like, they want to be transported somewhere, especially in a restaurant like this where we're literally telling you we are transporting you to Italy, right?
Exactly.
So to me, it's so important that that they look at it like a Broadway show. Like, you're gonna go to Hamilton and you expect to be wowed every
Yeah.
night. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter what's going on in the actors' personal lives. It doesn't
Exactly.
matter what's going on behind the scenes. Maybe a light fell or whatever it is, right?
Sure.
They're going to come out and deliver because that's their job. And
Yeah.
that's kind of the analogy that I always use with our team
Yeah.
here is like, leave your stuff at the door. Whatever happened, if you and your colleague got into it over, who gets to take the espresso machine first back there, you don't bring that out here. This
Yeah.
is the stage.
Yeah.
And you're here to not just serve people food, but give them an experience.
Yeah.
Because the best restaurants in the world are the ones that you get an experience at. And that doesn't necessarily mean they're like super stuffy 3 Michelin star restaurants, right? Like,
Right.
there's something to be said about going to like Mariscos Jaliscos and getting a taco at the truck, right?
Yes,
like,
exactly.
That's an experience.
Yeah.
And there's a reason people love that. Not only is the food good, but like, you get to eat at a taco truck. And it's a whole different thing than, going to, Tokaya and having a bowl there. Like, that's fine. It is what
fine.
it is.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, it's good for a quick lunch, but like doing that is a whole other experience. So again, it doesn't matter what the stage is as long as it is treated as a stage.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's my view on it.
Well, that's funny because I met you in New York
When I used to wear suits.
when you were
Yeah.
3-piece.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Now
Um,
I wear
but-
white t-shirts and pink jackets.
Oh, welcome back. Welcome back.
Yeah, I feel very LA.
Julian is an incredible young restaurateur. I mean, I've told you that. I'm impressed, and being here is cool because I can see you there,
Yeah.
and I can see your, and it's a story that you're writing. I mean, it's
For sure.
it's
Yeah.
and I can see you writing that story in a
Yeah, I
nice way.
mean, I love this, and I'm amazed by what we've done here. But there's still so much I want to do. Like you've been to the restaurants that I used to run. Like, I want those kind of restaurants
Right.
too. I want the darkly lit not that this isn't, but there's light colored wood. You got yellow
Yeah.
and white. Like, I want this super dark burgundy banquettes and the that kind of like very old school 50s New York vibe. I want to do something like that. I want to do the grand steakhouse vibe. I all the things that I learned that I grew up doing.
Right.
I want to do my own version of those things as well.
So I know someone in LA was very happy that you're back. How did you feel as a mom?
Yeah, my mom. Yeah.
I got in trouble with Julian's mom already once
Everybody's gotten in trouble with my mom. It's okay.
because I told her that he was doing really well in New York, and she looked at me and she said, "Yes, I want him back here."
But now you're back.
Now I'm
but
back.
Now that you're back, how do you
not
feel?
forever though.
Right.
Okay.
But
Yeah,
how do you
not
feel?
forever. I love being here.
Good.
I mean, I will say what has been interesting is I've been in New York since 2011, and every time that I would come back, I would come back here and it never felt like home because I had created such a home for myself in New York. But I also wasn't ever here for longer than like a week or two. The only time that I was here for like a long period of time was over COVID. I was laid off from Carbone, and I was like, you know what? I'm not staying here. Like, I have nothing to do here. All of my friends had gone off or gone somewhere else, and I had already had COVID. So I was like, I'm gonna fly back to LA, which was if you're ever in JFK by yourself, it was the craziest, weirdest. It felt post-apocalyptic.
Really?
It
Oh
was
my gosh.
wild. I was the only person in the Delta terminal.
What?
It was, except for like the janitor.
I've spent a lot of time in that Delta terminal at JFK. And there's-
Imagine it being empty.
That's crazy.
No music
That's
playing,
crazy.
no
Whoa.
shops open. It was, anyway, it was
Whoa,
crazy.
yeah.
And it was like me and maybe like 5 other people on the flight.
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy. But anyway, I was here for like 6 or 7 weeks. But I was staying with my parents, and I couldn't go anywhere because nothing was open, and I couldn't really see friends because, you know, my parents aren't old, but they're older, and I didn't want to get them sick. And we were seeing my grandmother because she lives alone, so I didn't want to see anyone and get her sick. So it was nice being here, but I didn't get to enjoy being here.
Yeah.
And then, you know, when my girlfriend and I moved here in June, my mom has this house up Laurel, and it's an old kind of, you know, canyon house, one story. You know, it's like got bright yellow tile in the bathroom, and it's the same like fixtures from the 50s. It's like, it's old, but it's super charming. And
I love that.
It's great. It's honestly, it's great. And we've just really enjoyed it. You know, I've being here, I've completely changed my lifestyle. I used to go to sleep at like 3 a.m. and wake up at noon, and now I go to sleep at 10 and wake up at 6:30.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've like stopped eating at restaurants, which sounds crazy considering I'm in the restaurant business. But like I was eating out at restaurants every night in New York, whereas here we go out like once every 2 weeks.
And that's what you mean by trying to pry people away from their kitchens.
For
it's
sure.
Like, give them a reason to do that. Because here,
For sure.
you know.
I did it more for health. Like I've lost 50 pounds since I've been here. Like,
Wow.
Yeah. I needed to. My dad was like, your girlfriend's way too attractive for you to be fat. I was like, thanks. That's nice. So I worked on that, Dad. But yeah, I've enjoyed it. It's a much more of a laid back lifestyle. My anxiety is definitely, well,
Not today, but
not in not in the last couple of weeks, but you know, when I was here in June and July and the restaurant was definitely still under construction, it was the first time in years where I was able to just like take a breath. And it made me realize, oh, I love LA.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just it's such a nice way of life. Do I want to do 365 days a year here? Probably not, but I also don't want to do that in New York.
Yeah.
I think both cities give you life, but also suck it out of you at the same time in very different ways.
In very different ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I needed a break from New York. And then I think my break might even be longer because my entire apartment is flooded. So I won't.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
Putting out fires here, putting out fires there.
Well, it was fires here and floods there,
true.
actually.
Yeah, there we go.
But yeah, I've really enjoyed being here, and I think just in terms of like the restaurants that I've eaten at and kind of the experiences that I've had, I know what we're bringing to LA is unique.
Yeah.
And there isn't quite anything like it, and I'm really excited to share that with all of my friends and all of my family that's here, that's, you know, been coming to New York and watching what I've been doing for the last 12 years. And now I get to share it with my hometown. That's a pretty cool,
It's cool.
It's a pretty cool thing.
That's really cool. So
Yeah.
I know you have to get back to everything that's happening. But before we do that, I want to move into our 3 questions that we ask for everyone.
Let's
And
go.
we're going to obviously cater it specifically to
Let's do
here.
it.
So, I mean, this feels like a dangerous question to ask.
Oh boy, here we go.
It's the messiest place here.
The Office.
The Office.
Ah, we got it. Perfect.
But it shouldn't be. If it wasn't, I would say the other messiest place is probably the area right outside the wine cellar, because they're constantly moving boxes in and just throwing the boxes out.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, waiting for the night porter at the end of the night to come and break the boxes down and take them to the garbage out there. The roof is also a mess right now too.
The roof?
The roof is a mess. So the plan is, in probably about a year, we're going to put a lounge on the roof.
Okay.
On this side of the roof. So where we're sitting now,
Yeah.
the building's an L shape. So this side of the roof will be a tented in lounge that will feel like a hotel lobby in Capri.
Ooh.
The bar on the second floor will service that because we can't legally have a bar up there, but we'll do like martini carts and whiskey carts and kind of make it old school and vibey up there.
Yeah.
No real tables. It'll be more of like big, beautiful white couches and, you know, marble tables and that sort of vibe. And then the other side of the roof is going to be just a beautiful Italian garden that will be a big event space. So, you know, if someone wants to get married up there, we can put out like 100 chairs and put a chuppah in the corner, and people can get married up there, right?
Yeah.
It's a Jewish wedding, obviously.
Yeah.
Naturally,
naturally.
obviously. And then Where was I going with that? So yeah, right now the roof is not set up at all.
Yeah.
We had this retail space up here where we were basically squatting for the last 6 months, and now we've had to take everything out of there and we've moved it all up to the
Yeah.
roof. So the roof's a little bit of a disaster.
Got
right
it.
now.
Got
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Speaking of upstairs, though.
Yeah.
So you have these 2 dining rooms here. You have a private bar upstairs,
We have a private
and then
bar
a
and
private
private
dining
dining room. Yeah.
Dining room.
Yeah,
It's stunning up there.
yeah. It's
That's gonna be
Absolutely.
it's very
something that
sexy up
does-
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for that, and honestly, I'm sorry, Kobe. I'm taking credit for that private dining room because
Okay, good.
originally when I
Yeah.
first joined Kobe and Will and Adam as a partner, the dining room was going this way instead of this way.
Okay.
And I walked in there with my mother, of course. She's honestly, this is her doing it, but I'm going to take the credit for it. We have 4 amazing windows that overlook the patio out there,
Yeah.
and the private dining room was only using 2 of the windows and coming back the length of the city block as opposed to the going. This is north, so instead of going north south, it was going east to west. And my mom was like, "You guys need to change this. Like, you have 4 windows.
Yeah.
Like, people use those windows to your advantage. They want to look out and see that. So not only do we now have those 4 windows, we actually have even more space. We went from a 16 to 20 person private dining room to a 40 person private dining room.
Yeah.
And I know private dining is a big thing in LA because, the agents at CAA and UTA
Yeah,
like to have
yeah.
these dinners all the time. But from the people I've shown this to, there's nothing like this. And to
Yeah.
have that private
No,
bar
it's-
right next
it's
door.
incredible.
Bar, I think
Exactly,
it's
exactly.
so chic,
Yeah.
and it's going to be
Yeah.
a great-
Very sexy
great
up there
space,
for
yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Okay, moving on to second
'Kay.
question.
Yep.
What is your favorite area of this space so far?
My favorite area. That's a good question.
This booth is killer, by the way.
Yeah, this is a great booth. I think these 3 booths
They're
for sure.
fantastic, yeah.
This is when my dad first walked in here and the room was like being constructed and like he could see like the banquettes weren't in but the wood was in.
Yeah.
He's like, "That's my table. I want that
Right.
table." Right there.
Right.
So he has table 303.
I would like this one, please.
Yeah.
Thank you.
My favorite room or space will probably be the private bar once it's actually done.
Yeah.
Once we have the art in there and the lampshades are in, and we have the little cocktail tables. I just think that room for meetings, for hanging out, for whatever it is. Like, I want to watch the Super Bowl in that room next week.
Ooh,
Like,
yeah.
I have a projector and a screen. I'm going to set it up somehow in there and figure it
Yeah.
out. I just think that room is very dark and sexy and cozy. And the whole thing for that second floor is we wanted it to feel like the opposite of down here. So you
Yeah.
have those darker reds and,
Yeah.
instead of these chairs, you have all these chairs are made by Knoll. You have the green velvet Knoll chairs
Yeah.
upstairs instead. We'll probably get different linens for up there. I want it to feel like a totally different vibe,
Yeah.
which
yeah.
I think we've accomplished. There's
Ooh.
we're working on that.
I love it.
Yeah. New construction. Gotta love it. That will be fixed by Thursday.
I love how much is happening here, to be
There's-
honest with you. Like, this is bringing me so much
There,
joy.
and to
Yeah.
be fair, like, this is very minimum. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
They're,
It's quiet.
True.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is quiet for
Yeah.
us. Usually it's a lot more. than that,
Amazing.
yeah.
Amazing. Okay, I have one more question for
Yeah.
you. When you walk through the space, what is the first thing that you notice? And that's either from like a design standpoint or like from what you're looking for staff wise or when they're people dining here.
I'm going to ask you to clarify because
Okay.
I walk through the space in 2 different ways.
Okay.
There is the way when I get here first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
And then there's the way when we're getting ready for service.
How about getting ready for service?
I don't know about the first thing that I notice, but I have my own walkthrough that I do. So I always start at the front door, and
Yeah.
this is what I used to do at the grill as well. I was like trained on doing this because the grill is an architectural masterpiece, and you have to make sure that everything looks great. This is by no means the same level as the grill. Nothing will ever be that, but this is still an amazing space, and it deserves the attention to detail that the grill did. So I start at the front door and I look at, is there trash on the ground? Did someone step in the mud and drag it onto the cement right outside? Where's our carpet? I walk inside and I look at the lighting. I look at the ground. I make sure the terrazzo floor is clean. I come up into the dining room and I check the trellis to make sure there's no nails sticking out of it. So it's not exactly like the first thing I notice, but it's more of what am I not noticing?
Yeah.
And I try to notice everything. I try to look at everything from every guest's perspective, because you have the people that are design junkies that will look at stuff like that. You have people that are service junkies that will look at, are all the tables set correctly, or all the napkins at 10 o'clock.
At 10 o'clock, yeah.
I'm a stickler about where we place the water glass. Like, I like to have, if you can see, I like to have the knife and the water glass meet right in the middle here.
Okay.
I like to have a very tight setting on every table, because these tables are not very big, and this is something we talk about a lot, is like, you don't have a lot of table real estate. If it was just my choice, I would have had a much bigger table here. But we like to keep things small and intimate, apparently. So, we have smaller tables.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of what I'm looking at. It's just constantly maintaining, checking, making sure that the space presents beautifully. Because as I said, this is a stage.
Yeah.
And if you saw a set piece falling off in Hamilton, you would notice that.
You would notice,
right?
Yeah, exactly.
So again, it's not like the first thing I notice. It's what am I noticing today that I didn't notice yesterday?
Yeah. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
I mean, this place is absolutely stunning. You've done an incredible job with it. So
the lighting is perfect.
the lighting
wait till
is
you see it
perfect.
at night when it's actually
Right.
dimmed and
But
Yeah.
the quality. I mean,
we-
your lamps are great.
Mm-hmm.
The art is great.
They're
The
expensive.
finishes are fantastic.
Yeah.
Banquet is comfortable.
Yeah.
Cool
I
mall.
love the chairs also, because oftentimes when you have either a banquet or the chair is usually just the worst thing that you've ever
For
sat.
sure. For sure.
And these are
That's-
so comfortable and
Yeah.
really beautiful.
And
really
the other thing
thoughtful.
that I love, so these are the chairs that we have in New York. But we said, okay, what's the vibe for outside? Because the indoor-outdoor vibe is we want it to be very similar, but at the same time very different. And what we kind of found for friends and family, which I thought was very interesting, was this room was the much more quiet, reserved, kind of fine dining room, where out there felt like a party.
Yeah. Okay.
Which I wasn't expecting. I really thought that people were gonna want to sit in here. A lot of people that sat in here said, "Hey, next time I come, can I sit out there?"
Ooh, fun.
Which was
Yeah.
very interesting.
Yeah.
Right.
Obviously, like certain people, like my parents, want to sit in here because it's a little quieter, it's a little more
I want to
reserved. But
Yeah.
it's but yeah. Anyway, so
But
the chairs are out there are different. The banquettes are that are out there are different. Obviously, they're outdoor material. Although a lot of the material out there is not actually outdoor material. So we'll see how that holds up. Hopefully, we were told it'll hold up. So I hope what we were told is accurate. And then the bar stools at the bar are totally different material than everything else. And we wanted to have some fun with it, and I think that's definitely what we accomplished. And I think the colors in here are all very easy on the eyes. There's nothing that's like jumps out at you.
Yeah.
I think the red on the bar definitely jumps out, but in like a very subtle, cool way.
Yeah. It just adds
It's really
adds
fantastic.
visual interest. It's gorgeous.
Can't wait to come back and taste
I know.
the food and see
Yes.
you.
We got to make you guys a
and
reservation.
see you do
Yes.
do your magic too, because that's my favorite. That's
It's-
one of my favorite parts.
It's
Yeah.
I will say I had not worked the floor in a very long
Right.
time, and when we did that for friends and family on Friday and Saturday,
Did your
it
feet-
felt really good. It
Or
was.
did your feet the day after? No, you're okay.
I-
You're 31. You're
I it's funny. I was gonna wear sneakers because I can now, because there's nobody.
Because it's
to
LA.
well, also there's nobody to tell me not to.
There you go.
But I opted for my old, which are still in very good shape. My old pair of J. Fitzpatrick tassel loafers that I used to wear at the grill, but I did have custom insoles made.
Got it.
And thank God I did, because I would have been in a lot of pain. While my legs felt okay the next day, I definitely, my body was like, you need to rest.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I'm excited to get this thing going. I think the rest of the staff is too, and I'm excited to have you guys in for dinner.
God, thank you for having us.
Thank you
Of
so
course.
much. I'm so grateful that you invited us in.
I'm grateful you guys wanted to come do this.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much.
course.
And we'll be back.
All right.
Yeah.